and welcome to Scale Car Garage. Well, this is kind of part 5 to making molds and casting, because we've made our molds, we've cast our parts, and now it's time to build a car. So let's get to it here at Scale Car Garage. Well, we now have our Porsche 356A Speedster slot car body kit and all the parts to make a slot car body. But I thought I'd take you through the parts that we have in this body kit, and I'm so excited because it turned out so well, and thank you for coming along with me on this journey, because I think we've created quite a neat body kit. So let's start off with, of course, we have the body, which is a one-piece Porsche 356A Speedster, and it also has, as we designed, the mounting points at the bottom of the body, and it keeps the weight low, as it should on a slot car. It comes with a full interior, and as you can see, molded into the interior is the stick shift lever. It's molded there. You just have to paint it. The boot cover, and these are all the parts that are in the kit. The dashboard, we have the photo etch sheet that we cast, and I was surprised at how well that turned out as a cast piece. Now, the one challenge with it, the real part that we need from the photo etch sheet is the rear grille, which I think turned out quite well. It also has the badging for the car, the windshield wipers, the side view mirror, and the rear view mirror in the photo etch parts tree. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. In addition to that, we have the stock steering wheel, which is right here, and also a sport or racing steering wheel, because a lot of racers, even in the 50s, would put a different steering wheel in. We also have a Radot side view mirror that you can see there, as well as a rear view mirror. Again, just in case the resin photo etch, for lack of a better description, is too delicate, we've got those parts cast and ready to go. And we have the clear parts. We have the windshield and the headlight lenses. So they turned out really, really well, as you can see. We have wheel inserts, so we make this look like a real Porsche. That turned out quite well. And the body, which, as you can see, has these, I guess, indentations along the side, just as the real car did. And there are holes molded into the body. And into those holes go these side moldings. And the side moldings are actually made of, well, very thin steel. And the gauge of the steel is just perfect to put in. So we're all set there. And of course, we have a full driver figure: the body, head, and 2 arms. Let's get started making one right now. And I'm going to take you through the assembly of this. And the assembly is very straightforward. So why don't we start doing that right now? So, of course, the first step, once you get the body, is, before you do any detailing and so forth, it would be to build a chassis for the car, which, okay, I went ahead And I did. As you can see, I built a nice little Sidewinder chassis, very similar to the chassis that I built for the 356 model. And as you can see, it fits the body quite nicely, and it's going to make a great little slot car. Which means now we have to paint the body. Well, if you are going to paint this body, because it's so smooth, it would be really a very, very good idea to take some wet sandpaper and underwater just rough the surface enough to give the surface, I guess, or give the paint, I should say, something to bite into the surface. However, I thought, since I'm casting bodies anyway, I thought I'd try something I'd never tried before. It would be great to have a body that you could really run hard, not worry about, well, of course, there might be a few bits flying off, but scratching the paint, for example, and really going wheel to wheel, door to door. And there is a way. Let me show you, first of all, what these cars look like. So here we have 4 356A Speedster castings, and we have one in yellow, in dark blue, red, and light blue. Now, these also, this is the casting, so you can see it's all ready to go and ready to be detailed, and it's going to fit the chassis quite nicely. But believe it or not, folks, this is not paint. Look at this finish. Is that not lovely? It's wonderful, but it's not paint. This is tint. And just as we added dark tint to a little drop of dark tint to give this gray color, I used yellow. And it was recommended to me by the chaps that I purchase my casting supplies from. And son of a gun, will you look at this? Gorgeous. Look at this red. I mean, it looks as if it has been painted. And we have, now, this seems to be everyone's favorite color. And I can see why, because it looks so period. It's a lovely light blue that's just going to look absolutely great. And I know I want to build all 4 of these cars, but we have to build one to start off with, and I think we're going to start with this blue car. It is an absolutely lovely color. But I'm not going to stop detailing, because I'll detail this blue car, and I'm going to detail the yellow car, and that blue car, and this red car, and we'll have 4 bodies. Of course, I'll have to build more chassis, which brings us to another. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's start detailing these bodies. And oh my gosh, I think they're going to look fabulous. So before I started detailing the powder blue 356A Speedster body, I thought I'd just put it on a scale and see what the weight was, and I was really quite surprised. The body itself only weighed 9.8 grams, under 10 grams. Now that's the body without all of the other parts, so I thought I would weigh the parts. And again, I was surprised at just how much the parts, well, didn't weigh. And we're talking about a full interior, full driver, figure, all the other parts. Now, all the other parts were 11.3 grams. So together, and those parts, I also included the wheel inserts, which may not be fair, but they don't weigh much. But altogether, all the parts weigh 21.1 grams. 21.1 grams. That's really pretty good. So after weighing them, I thought, well, let's do the detailing. And I did. So let's take a look at the detailing of the powder blue 356. So here are the detailed parts of the Porsche 356. Now, I, of course, didn't do the driver figures yet, but I did do the resin cast of the photo etch parts, and you know, I think they're going to turn out okay. Of course, I tried to sort of get some shading in on the grill, and I don't know if you can see if that's going to work or not. But you can also see how we have the side view mirror, the two windshield wipers, the rear view mirror. So I think we can make this work, as well as the badging that says Porsche, that says 1600, and that says Speedster. I think we can actually use these. So as you can see, I think the body turned out quite well. And we also have the steering wheel. There we go. We have the dashboard. I just haven't, as I said, detailed the driver and so forth. But what I want to show you is on the interior, when you detail the interior, try to leave these surfaces where I'm pointing here without any paint, because especially right this little notch. This notch fits right into a notch in the underside of the body. I don't know if you can see it right there, but there is a notch, and this interior slides in and snaps in, and that's how you glue the body to the interior. Well, I think we can start assembling this and then fit it to the chassis. So let's start doing that right now. Of course, since I was detailing the blue Speedster, I thought I'd also detail the yellow one, the blue one, and the red one. So we're just building one, but we've got 3 other bodies that we can build chassis for, but one at a time. So sorry, I just thought I'd mention that. And now back to assembling the baby blue Speedster. Here. I have our super glue, and this is the purple, which is I guess it's 5 to 10 second super glue. We're going to need some toothpicks, and here are our parts. So just to be safe, let's put them to the side, and let's put the interior in. So you can see there are notches right here in the body. Hopefully you can see that, where these posts there snap in. So let's put the interior in, like so. Okay. Being very careful, of course. You can see how it snaps right in. So let's take a little snip. There we go. And we shall glue in our interior. Just a dab of glue here. You can see, putting it in right at the post there. A little bit. There we go. Cover up our super glue, and we're going to let that set. Next, I would recommend putting in the dashboard. Now, as you can see, there are 2 pins on the underside of the dashboard that fit into the 2 pins on the body. So let's just do a quick test fit so I can show you how this all works. And of course there is a gap between the front of the car and the dashboard for our windshield, which goes in like so. So let's put some super glue on those 2 holes for the dashboard and put our dashboard in place. Oh, just a wee bit. Don't need much. There we go. So you can see we just put a wee bit. Close that up and put our dashboard in like so. we have our dashboard in the car. Lovely. That looks quite good. Next, I would recommend putting in the boot cover. And the boot cover really just sits on the back of the car. And you can really see how it sits from the underside here. And what I would recommend doing is putting some super glue around that ridge as you hold the boot cover in place. So let's do that right now. Put a little dab of super glue. There we go. So let's let that set. So now that we've let that set, and it sets in 5 to 10 seconds, which is pretty quick, I would suggest putting in the headlight lenses next. And I'll show you what I use for headlight lenses and for the glass for the windshield. This is what I use for clear parts on slot cars. It's microscale, micro crystal clear. And that's what we're going to use to put on our headlights. So let's do the headlights right now. And you will need a toothpick. Okay, so we've got a toothpick ready, as you can see. And apply the glue to the body of the car. So that's what we're going to do. You don't need much, but you want it mostly on the tip. Oops, too much. And put it all around the headlight bezel. And while it looks, when it's wet, it has an actual sheen to it. When it dries as the bottle states, absolutely crystal clear. So let's put that in like so. There's the first headlight bezel, or headlight lens, I should say, excuse me. And just as we did with the other headlight, I'm going to go around the rim of the headlight bezel. Take our headlight lens and put it on. Like so. There we go. Now we have our headlight lenses on. And we're going to let that cure as well. The next step is to remove all of the parts from the resin cast photo etch sheet carefully using an X-Acto knife. Here are the parts separated and ready to put on the car. Great care should be taken when attaching the badges to the car, as super glue has to be used to keep the badges from flying away while racing. I placed a very small amount of glue to the body where the badge is to be attached and very carefully put the badge in place. Unlike a decal, you really only have one opportunity to get the placement correct, as the glue sets very quickly. So now that we've got the badging on the car, the next piece of detail to put on the body is it's actually a fun part to put on, because
It's relatively easy to put on, and it makes the car look so cool.
So as you can see, we've got all of the badging on. We've got the Porsche badge at the front, the Speedster badges on the sides, and the Porsche 1600 badge
On the back of the car.
as well as, of course, we put the
Grill on the trunk.
I'm sorry, I'm getting so excited here. Our interior is intact.
The next bit is to put the side moldings on.
And these are the pieces of steel that actually snap right into the sides here. This goes in this hole, and the other end goes into the other hole here, and it snaps in.
Now the holes are molded in.
So to
Make the steel side moldings
fit even better, rather than
pushing them through and
well, taking the risk of bending them, which we don't want to do, take a very
small drill
in a pin vise, go and find the hole and drill through. You can just very lightly drill the hole through the body. There we go, there's one. And the other one is right by the door handle here, you can see. So very carefully drill into that one. Very carefully. There we go, we're through. And then you take side molding, put it in one hole there, and one hole here. There we go. And carefully push through. You can see how it pushes in, and the side molding is in the car. So there is the front molding, or side molding, on, and you can see how that looks really, really good. Now, to make sure that it stays on, what I would also recommend doing is on the underside of the body, you can see where the pin actually is showing through. I would put a small spot of super glue there, just to anchor it in place. Just a little spot right there, like so. Just to keep it in place. And that will do the trick. Lovely. All right, so let's do the back, or the rear fender. And again, just a little bit of a hole. There we go, poke it through, and poke it through, whoops. Take our molding, and put it in place. And there we go. Our molding is in place. And again, same deal for the pins showing through.
right there through the body.
We'll put a little dab, and I mean a little dab, not very much. You don't need much of super glue, just a little splotch like so. Little splotch like so, and like so, just to help keep them in place. And there we go. There is one side done. And as you can see, they look, they really make the car look
Quite nice.
I'm really pleased with that. And they fit very, very well. So, as you can see, we'll do the other side and the car will be done. So now we have all of the details on the car. We have the badging, we have the side molding, we have the details painted, and the interior. We still haven't got the driver yet. So I wanted to talk about the driver. Of course, if you look at pictures back in the day, the height of the driver relative to the windshield varied quite a bit. And that was most likely due to the size of the drivers themselves. Well, some were simply taller than others. So when I created this driver body, what I did, let me just carefully put the body down here. What I did, and I'll show you, I created a parting line, but that parting line was actually made for a reason. And the reason that this parting line was made was that if you wanted to sit the driver lower in the car, you could just remove the resin at the parting line. Or what I used to do, or could do, is just cast half the driver without that part of his lower end attached. But that would make a pretty diminutive driver. So if you just leave the driver the way it is and place it in the car, you can see how the shoulder sits quite a ways above the driver's door. And there were quite a few photos like that. There were some pretty tall drivers that drove these cars back in the 50s. However, as you sort of lower the driver, you see you can lower the driver like that, that's kind of more of a median, but again, I leave that up to whoever's doing the modeling. Myself, I'm going to actually shorten this driver a wee bit. But the pictures are really quite telling because you can see how their helmets are actually above the level of the windscreen. It's really quite something. Anyway, so allow me to show you what I'm planning to do is actually remove quite a bit of the driver's lower area to get it to sit a little lower for this model. But you can do different heights and again, which varies the, just like the real world, different drivers were different sizes. So I'm going to remove that and we'll fettle the driver a wee bit. When you go to this line, you're basically making the person driving at about 5'7" in scale, roughly. Without taking any resin off, you're having this driver sit as if it's about 6'2". So that's the range. So I'm just going to take some snips here and just do some major, and you can see how you just put your snips in between here, like so, and snip. There we go. Snip all the way, and it snips quite nice. And there you can see, so I'm going right to the line there, and we'll even that out. And there's a line on the other side to go by as well, as you can see. And go by that line, and we're going to go that low right here. There we go. And all the way down the legs here, like so. And of course, the great thing is you're not going to be able to see that from this angle anyway. To smooth it out, just take a knife, very carefully now, and whittle away. I'll show you the difference in the manner in which the driver sits. See, make sure he's flat. Oh. A little, there we go. Yep. Right, and let's see if that will, insert to the side here, will reduce the size. Let's see here. And voila. As you can see, the shoulder is below the top of the door there. So now we have a driver that is, well, driver size. Great. Doesn't want to come out. Who would? What a great car. Okay, so we've adjusted the driver's seat height. That's a good description of it. And I've gone ahead and detailed the driver, his body, his arms, and the driver's head. Also, while I was detailing, I also detailed the inserts for the wheels, painted the wheels, wired the chassis. We're very, very close to actually getting this car on the track. Before we do, let's fit the driver to the car, the body to the chassis, or actually before we do the body to the chassis, we should put the inserts in the wheels, of course, then put the body on the chassis. I beg your pardon, getting ahead of myself because we're getting so close. And before we do any more detailing to the car, we'll see if it works. I think it turned out really, really well. From mold and casting to track. And I really hope you like it, because I really do. I can't wait to put, I can't wait. I know we still have to put numbers on and, you know, tape up the headlights and stuff, but I can't wait to drive this. I really want to take it around the track and see what it's like. So if you would be so kind to join me for the very first laps of this wonderful 356 A Speedster slot car that we made together. We did this together. So let's do it. Let's take it around the track. Now, this is the first time it's going around the track. I did not even test the chassis. I'm either really confident or exceptionally unwise, but it's worth a shot. It seems to roll quite nicely on the test bit, or the setup block, I should say. I'm so excited about this. All right, so let's, keeping with tradition, do the right lane. Power is on. We're not timing it. I just want to see if this thing will get around the track. So here we go, folks. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yes. Whoa. Nice. Oh, yeah. It really goes. Wow. Okay. I guess we better finish the car. Let's do the headlight tape and the numbers on the side of the car, and then this project is done. Let's do the tape on the headlights first, and then we'll paint the number. Let me show you what I'm using for tape. I am actually using tape. That's right. This actually is electrical tape, and I think it's got the right kind of sheen for the car. So we're going to cut it into scale strips and scale lengths, and I think we'll do probably 3 or 4 strips per headlight. Let's experiment and see how it looks, and take it from there. But wow. All right, let's get back to work. We're actually going to put the tape on the wax paper and then make our cuts with the X-Acto knife and a ruler. So let's take off some tape first, a length of tape. You can see I haven't used this electrical tape in quite a while, but I think it's going to look really cool. So let's take some scissors here. There we go. Put the roll to the side, and let's tape the tape to the wax paper. And that way, hopefully, we won't lose too much adhesive. Now, I think a good scale width would probably be 2 millimeters is too wide. I say 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter, right. Okay, so let's make a little, just use the leading edge of the tape, and I'm going to make a little notch over here. Go, see that? And a little notch over here. There we go. And let's take our metal ruler, which is perhaps longer than it should be, and let's go notch to notch, like so. I think that's, there we go. And there we go. Take our X-Acto knife and let's cut. And it looks like we have, lovely. Now, using our vernier calipers again, we should calculate the length of tape that we need over our headlights. So let's take a look at the car here. And we want it to sort of extend over the bezels onto the bodywork. So let's see here. Be a good length. Oh, that would be a good length. Maybe a little too much, huh? What have we got here? 1 centimeter. You know what? 1 centimeter it is. Cross it like so. Make sure I get it. There we go. And this is like taping a real headlight. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? That looks great. One. And let's do one on the passenger side now. Three. I think 3 is going to do it. I don't think we want 4. I think 3. I think 3 is going to do it. Well, isn't that lovely? Whoa! Nice. That's good. There we go. That's better. Okay. There we go. Nice. Real tape on the headlights. Beautiful. Righto. Number time. Using a pencil, let's sketch our number. So we want number 7, right? Number 7. We've got the tape on the headlights. We painted the number on the side with the class, of course, and there is the car all done. And I think it looks absolutely great. If you want to build a 356 of your own, I would be more than pleased to cast a body kit for you. For a cost of only $40 US plus shipping, you will receive an accurate 1/32 scale one-piece body, interior, boot cover, dashboard, photo etch sheet cast in resin, stock steering wheel, competition steering wheel, side view mirror, rear view mirror, windshield, headlight lenses, wheel inserts, body trim moldings made of steel, a full driver body, driver head, and driver arms. Just send an email to KIT9161@rogers.com to place your order.
So, to sum up, we created molds, we did our casting, and we made our car. And oh, I have to tell you, I'm so pleased, and I really hope that if you want to build a car like this, please feel free to order. I would be honored to ship you a body kit, and I would love to see what you do with it. So thank you so much for all the comments, all the views, all the subscribers. You have been so wonderful, and thank you so much for your wonderful support here for Scale Car Garage.
I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe.